Now, does this bring back memories? In the late 1980s, the new acid house music scene was emerging. Partygoers attending illegal raves in fields or in disused warehouses. That smiley face was absolutely everywhere, and now we can take you back.
You somewhere in these pictures?
Yeah, that's me, just there, just there. Is that you? No.
Unlikely. Now, a new immersive exhibition using virtual reality is taking people back to the second Summer of Love. That was 1989, as Ben Sidwell reports.
It really took me back, being there in 1989.
It was a national moment, and it just brought thousands of people together.
Probably the last real sort of cultural revolutions in this country, and I think it's a story that deserves to be told.
It's a journey back to 1989 and the heart of the rave scene, telling the stories of those from the West Midlands who were at the forefront of a musical revolution in the early days of acid house.
It's more like being in a documentary experience. It's almost like a film experience where you are in that film. You're able to interact. The documentary is all around you. And you're on a journey. You're on a journey to discover an illegal acid house party in 1989.
The pirate radio stations would sort of be like a line of communication for the promoters.
This is In Pursuit of Repetitive Beats, an interactive and immersive virtual reality exhibition at the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery.
I tell you what, this is incredibly immersive. It does feel like you're back in a warehouse in 1989. Probably the closest I'm ever going to get to time travel. But don't take my word for it. Have a look yourself.
Visitors are transported back to the height of the rave scene in Coventry, a time without social media and mobile phones, where flyers, secret phone numbers and word of mouth would lead you to huge illegal warehouse raves, with the story told by those who were there in 1989.
It was very underground, it was very word of mouth, you didn't have mobile phones, things weren't advertised in the way that they are today. But yeah, the actual experience of being in the space and, in front of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people was just incredible at the time.
Soon as I said the first thing, like, party people in the house, and the whole crowd was going mental.
Amazing, absolutely magical, just really reminded me of what it used to be like to go out, and just really special experience.
It was fantastic, really took me back.
In Pursuit of Repetitive Beats is on at the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery until September the 1st, before it heads out on a national tour. Ben Sidwell, BBC News.
Well, who else do we need to talk to but Bez from the Happy Mondays? Good morning. What do you make of that to take you back?
Well, you know what, I couldn't actually see because I'm sat at home watching virtual BBC and I cannot actually see you. I can only see my good self on the screen.
Well, what about...
So I completely missed it all, so I'm virtually missed out.
I love the honesty.
We need to get you one of these headsets and take you back to the late 80s, early 90s.
But you know what? I felt it in my heart, though. That's the main thing. And the great thing about that is that there's so much going on at that time. There's a cultural phenomenon going on with the rave scene. Then you had the travellers doing all the free party scene. And the whole thing was exploding. And, and if the government didn't step in when they did and made it completely illegal, I could see it taking right over the whole country, free parties springing up everywhere. There was a feeling of a revolution going on, and, you just wanted to do as much as you can. And, you felt like you was part of something really special at the time.
Bez, for people who are watching who maybe weren't part of it, can you explain what was special about it? What was the feeling?
It's just the feeling of, that, because when we was kids growing up, we used to think about the 60s and the thing what went on there. And suddenly we was involved in our own cultural revolution. And it just felt unbelievably good, because you felt like, you're at the forefront of an underground music scene. And it was honestly, it felt magical, and people were united up and down the country, coming together, and it was such a magical feeling. And that's all I can say, really. You know, you had to be there to experience it. And it's great that you've got these virtual shows now to show, you know, how it was back in the day. And it didn't look that fancy, really, to be truthful, but you had to be there to experience it.
Do you think it could happen again now, the whole acid house rave culture, or is it very much of its time?
Yeah, of course it could. You know, the only thing what's really stopping it from happening again and youth culture happening again is one, the law won't allow it to happen again. You know what I mean? All these free parties and things like that. But you never know, because the way things are going, we've got a new Labour government, and they could kickstart a new youth cultural movement. You never know. When things change, you know, politically, musical changes as well, and things change, so you never know. I've always got hope for the future, and you know, I always think our youth will always deliver for us.
And Bez, if there was one party, one night you could go back to, relive, remember, what would it be?
I don't know. I'm waiting for that party to happen. I'm still out there doing it, so I'm waiting for for that night what I want to relive again. I'm sure it's not happened, and I'm waiting for that moment.
Will you invite us then when you know it's going to happen? Because I think we need to go.
I'll let you know when it happens.
Brilliant.
When that night actually happens. You know what I mean? I've not lived in it. I've had a few close ones, but it's not quite happened yet. I'm waiting for the big one.
We've got loads of messages from our viewers this morning, Bez. Shirley's been in touch. She says she raved from 1989 to 1994. I don't think that was non-stop. I think she had breaks and sleeps within it. She said she'd follow cars with friends, drive around all night, music blaring, trying to spot people going to an underground location. Once that location was found, it was the best night of your life. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? There was no sat-navs or Google Maps or anything like that then. It was maps and word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, thank God for sat-nav these days, because I remember it used to be like trying to read the map, and I had the lights on full beam, the map out with my arms stretched out, trying to find out where I was going on the map. So, you know what? Sat-nav saved my life, you know.
That's the title of your autobiography, Sat-Nav Saved My Life.
I wonder if some other things maybe saved your life as well, Bez. But let me just share this with you. This is from Steve. He says his raving day started when he turned 17, just after he got his driving licence. Driving around from Hertfordshire to London to visit the legendary Camden Palace, he remembers the bass vibrating through the floors, and he still loves that feeling now. And I guess that's what we're talking about here today, isn't it? Going back to that whole sensory experience of being there.
Yeah, you know what? You can't beat that feeling. I remember sometimes I stood on the dance floor, and even if you didn't want to dance, the floor was moving like that, and you was involuntarily swaying to the music. It used to be brilliant.
We're seeing some pictures of you doing your famous dancing and swaying right now. Would you try one of these virtual headsets? Would you like to see what it's like to take you back? You don't really need one, do you?
Well, you know what? Like I say, I don't want to go. I'm still going forward in time yet. When I have to go back in time, I might stick one on. But for me, you can't beat the real thing, being out there. I'm still holding on to my youth in a way. So I'm lucky enough through my work that I do that I'm still out there and I'm still having the real experience.
That is great to know, Bez. You crack on. Keep reliving your youth. We should all do that. It's great to talk to you.
OK. Lots of love, everyone.
Peace and love, Bez. Peace and love. Good to see you.